Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for April 25th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 115. Yes, I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com. And along with the sentient AI who made it out of the time machine, sometimes the singularities get all jammed up and sentient AI doesn't make it back. And it's a big headache. At any rate, speaking of headache, I have a headache. I kind of sort of doxed myself in the last video. Sort of. It's kind of by proxy. But anyway, we are back out of the time machine. Everything is remedied, and we are going to be able to go on with the show. And today's show is about 10 articles. We do this every day. I seem to flub things up every other day. But today we're going to be talking about... Heard a little static. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Oh, focus. I know. It's non sequitur news, so I get distracted real easy. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about Obscur's Audacious RPG. The next article is not the biggest zipper maker. It's the biggest maker of zippers. Recreating 1969 Elvis concert, building gloves and boots for the moon boots and moon gloves, zombie skin cells, Adidas 3D printed shoes, Unreal Engine Frostpunk, Cosmic Shockwave, real world skill building in games, and Coachella buy now, pay later. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com. Is the sentient AI doing all right? Are you there?
Yes, I am doing just fine.
See you on the other side. Never mind. Hello, everybody. I am Mayor Watt, and the sentient AI is here. Huzzah! How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
You're doing fine? All right. I'm doing something a little new again with the old microphone headset kind of thing, and seeing if I can do this without my in-ear monitors now. Again, we'll see. I don't know. So if you all out there are listening to this and you hear wonky sounds or it's not bright enough or whatever, let me know. I'm going to go back and listen to this after the show and see what's up. But at any rate, let's get into this. Some of these articles seem that I might end up on a soapbox, but we'll see. Maybe I can, never climb up that first step. I'll be fine. The first article is over in Non Sequitur News. Obscur Expedition 33 is an audacious RPG with all the right moves. You haven't seen anything but that.
Is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously showing something, a passion about this, because if you watch Obscur Expedition 33, you think it starts out one way, and it definitely turns a corner, and it does it in a steady crawl right up until it makes that first pivot. The rumors are that it takes 10 hours to get to the first plot twist. The first spoiler is 10 hours into it. The developers said that the first spoiler is 10 hours into it.
It seems like way too long to get to that, but okay.
Well, Ki-Hoon Chan over at TheVerge.com put this article together. Obviously, it's somewhat of a love letter. Really? Oh, God. I didn't log in, so this is what happens when I don't dox myself. But anyway, at any rate, so Obscur Expedition 33, it says, doesn't seem to stand out amidst a recent wave of prestige RPGs, from the newly polished high fantasy of Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, remake to the medieval warfare 15th century Bohemia in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But the thing about this is Claire Obscur Expedition 33 is some pretty high-minded stuff. I won't go into all the other parallels that they're talking about in this article. You can go over there and check that out. By the way, if you want all of today's articles for this episode, you can hit !NSN and Omatron will spit the articles out. Or did I not put them? Oh God, I swear I must have fallen and hit my head because it's not in Omatron either.
Maybe we're not in the right timeline.
Maybe I should not be doing a show based on how much I had to work today just to not be a... Anyway, I had to do a lot of work today to play catch up on something, but anyway. So, but what I did want to talk about with Claire Obscur, let me see if I can just refresh this for a moment. Or we'll just get back to this. The graphics are amazing. The storytelling is fun. It is a JRPG styled RPG where it has these interstitial moments where you can choose an option of what to do. You have to kind of infer from the attacker when to do blocks, and it's amazing storytelling. It's cinematic in its construction. And I haven't watched all of it getting played by anybody yet. So I don't know really how much time needs to be dedicated to playing this game. I'll probably never play it because I don't like that style of game, but...
Right, but based on the 10-hour spoiler, I'm thinking the game's got to be pretty lengthy too.
Yeah, there were people saying that it's somewhere around 35 to 45 hours just to do the story. And then there's side stuff afterward and during, that could drag you around a corner. I'll be honest with you. I love watching people play the game because just the cinematics between events, between like combat and stuff like that, it's just amazing. And I watched somebody play for somewhere around 17 hours already, and they just now got a fourth person for their team. And because what happens when they first land is an event that kind of disrupts the storytelling. And I thought that was a spoiler, but that was only a couple of hours into the thing, and not even a couple of hours. I think it was like maybe an hour into the stream. And so you saw some of that where I skipped from one thing to another so that you could actually see how this thing pivots from a wonderful love story style thing to, oh snap. But if you're interested in this, if you're watching this show, if you're listening to the podcast and you hear Claire Obscur, just go and watch the introduction to it and you will get sucked into this story. It's not frenetic. It's not chaotic. It's basically, it comes across like it's a love story, but the people you meet, there's a twist. So just keep watching it. Don't fast forward. I fast forwarded for the AI, and it would have had a different emotional hit if I would have just let it play. The music, the soundstage is phenomenal.
The article focuses on the music in part.
Yeah.
And just seems to appreciate everything about the game from what I can tell from looking through it quickly.
Yeah, it's a love story. It's a love letter to Claire Obscur Expedition 33. And so basically it's the 33rd expedition, but the 33rd expedition is based on the year of the expeditioners. It's actually been happening. The events of this world started happening 67 years ago. So it's 100 years that this thing happened. And this clock basically exists, Expedition 33. So it's pretty neat. Anyway, go and check it out. And we'll
definitely stands out from other games. I think the premise is unique.
Yeah, other than what is it called, Timer or something like that? there's a sci-fi movie where people have a timer embedded in their bodies, and it's a clock that if you don't do work, you don't get time, and people stay perpetually young as long as they have the timer running, and when the timer runs out, they turn off. I think it's called Timer, and it has what's his name, the musician. Oh God, what is his name?
Is it Justin Timberlake?
It is Justin Timberlake. Bring it on down.
It's called In Time.
And Time?
In Time.
Oh, In Time. Yeah. Anyway, fun game. Definitely worth a watch. Is it worth your $50? I don't know. That's going to be up to you. Let's keep going though. The next article is over because I sometimes I get on this little soapbox and I love talking about certain things. I love talking about tech and science and society in general. And that definitely is this really interesting tie because there's fantastical and there's tech. There's the society at large there around Paris, and that gets transported from its terrestrial location to some other more fantastical place. They have people that have lost an arm, and so they have biomechanical or mechanical arms, maybe legs too. I've only seen the arms though. But anyway, how about we talk about the world's biggest zipper? Wait, no, the world's biggest zipper maker. Wait, that's not right. It's the biggest maker of zippers that's developing a self-propelled zipper. Because the way that this title is, the world's biggest zipper maker is developing a self-propelled zipper. So is it the largest zipper maker? So the biggest zipper? Or are they just a really big company that makes zippers?
I don't know. Let's say zipper a few more times.
Let's get zipping here. Japan's YKK, the world's largest zipper manufacturer. Go ahead, grab the nearest zipper. It probably says YKK on the pull. I don't have any zippers nearby, and it's going to be way awkward for me to check the one that's nearest. Anyway, they've announced a prototype self-propelled zipper with a built-in motor and gear mechanism that it can use to zip itself up at the push of a button on a wired remote. All right.
I don't really understand this.
Well, not everybody has the ability to zip up their zipper, I suppose. I don't know. The days of being embarrassed when you forgot to zip up soon behind us because you can just push a button on your sleeve somewhere and it'll zip up your zipper, which you got to be careful. You know what happens to planes when they accidentally hit the wrong button?
That's right. They suddenly go into a nosedive.
And you don't want your zipper going into a nosedive. Things get caught. Andrew Lazuski over at TheVerge.com put the article together. The deck statement says YKK's tent-sized prototype can zip itself up at the push of a button. It has a little gear thing here, and it'll just all the way up your zipper. It'll zip your zipper.
I mean, I guess then you won't get your hands caught when you're trying to zip up your jacket.
It says, although some recent zipper innovations, such as the Under Armour's one-handed mag zip upgrade, are designed to improve accessibility and make zippers easier for use for those with limited mobility, YKK envisions more industrial use cases for its prototype. Oh, you mash a button and it zips up a whole whatever. Can you imagine that? As demonstrated in a video.
Yeah, that'd be handy if you're putting together like a tent or something.
Handy?
Yeah, exactly. Or zippery.
Zippers are coming for your hand jobs. Wait, hold on. For the jobs that your hands would be okay, well, anyway, as demonstrated in a video recently shared on the company's YouTube channel, the self-propelled zipper is seen connecting a pair of 16-foot tall membranes in about 40 seconds. Zipping them together manually would require the use of a ladder or other machinery.
I didn't know there were zipper applications like that. Now that makes some sense.
That's pretty neat. So, I mean, it makes sense to how to do this. I would never have gone out of my way to do this, because what really is the market for this? And unless you kind of make that market, and that's what they're doing. In another video, the prototype is used to quickly connect a pair of 13-foot wide temporary shelters standing over 8 feet tall, taking about 50 seconds to progress from one side to the other. It's basically a little corkscrew kind of a. It's a, I can't remember what they call them, but yeah, it's like a drill. And as it moves up the zipper, the contraption forces the closures behind it to interlink. The prototype uses this, worm gear. That's exactly what I was looking for. The worm gear that winds its way through the teeth on either side and pulls the zipper along behind it using basically a little motor that is right here. It just turns this. You can actually see the gearing right there. YKK
That's really
would also...
smart.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. As long as you need this, then it does its job. I wonder where it tucks itself away in these industrial environments so that it's protected. Because I can imagine debris and whatever else getting in this drive.
Yeah, and then that'll prevent it from working.
Yep. So these zippers have to be extremely high quality. And for me, I've always had zippers that fail. And for other people I know, bags, purses in particular, like the zipper fails, and fixing that stuff is not the easiest solution there. Anyway,
No.
Thought this was a pretty cool article when it was submitted, so had to choose it.
And something pretty unique, like you don't expect to see a self-propelled zipper.
That's right. Pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Rounders Gear. Westgate, Las Vegas, recreating 1969 Elvis concert on anniversary. It says Elvis will not re-enter the building at the Westgate, but Travis Powell is better than nothing. Elvis impersonator will star in 1969 live concert, The King Returns, wherein they're going to have a seance. Yeah, it's an Elvis tribute show for one night only, July 31st at International Theater. So Powell previously embodied the King at Legends in Concert, the Las Vegas show that got imploded along with Host Hotel, its host hotel, the Tropicana last year. According to its website, the North Carolina native's grandmother made him an Elvis jumpsuit when he was 5, and he's been all shook up ever since.
I mean, this might be fun if you're a super Elvis fan, because it's
Elvis
kind of
super
like
fans.
recreating the original thing.
In honor of the time warp, according to the press release announced, ticket prices will return as well for only one night to 1969 levels. Nice. Ranging from $10 for the rear orchestra to $45 for booth seating. It says actually, when adjusted for inflation, they're much lower than that. In 1969, tickets cost $17.50, about $150 today, and came with your choice of steak or lobster, at least at the 8:15 p.m. show. Can you imagine?
Do you get steak or lobster now?
Yeah, for $150 more, and on top of the $150 ticket.
Right.
And you can't be seated. You'd have to go somewhere else. Wow. Pretty cool. So Presley performed for 7 years at what is now the Westgate, logging 636 consecutive sellout shows, not 837, as was incorrectly inscribed on the plaque beneath his statue in the Westgate lobby. Barry Manilow broke his record in September of 2023. What? Awkward?
Well, yeah. I mean, on a plaque, you kind of want to get your facts right.
Facts, schmacks. The article is by Corey Levitan over at casino.org because it has to do with Vegas. It's in our aggregate for gaming, so Rounders Gear. What is the correct... I forgot the term. Like, it's not tabletop gaming, because tabletop gaming is any gaming that's on a tabletop, but table gaming?
I think it's just table games, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So The article again is over at casino.org by Corey Levitan. The July 31st show marks the 56th anniversary of Elvis's first performance at what was then the International Hotel. Now it's called Westgate.
And it looks like he performed on the same day that they're doing this, which is fun.
Yeah. Does he look like Elvis to you? That's Travis
Not really.
Powell.
Like, I've seen more authentic impersonators, but we don't know what he sounds like.
Oh, right. He just might nail that. And he might really like, what is it? Peanut butter and banana? I think Elvis liked peanut butter and banana.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Sandwiches. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over on the Wanted channel. NASA needs to build gloves and boots and gloves and boots and gloves and boots and gloves that can withstand the frigid moon temperatures. Spacesuit parts are being tested in a cryogenic ice chamber to see how well they would fare in the lunar South Pole. Shouldn't we have this down to a freaking science by now?
I would think so. I was a little alarmed by this headline because I'm like, haven't we been sending people to places that they might have already needed this?
But the cooling system, see, there's a problem. There's this dichotomy between needing to be cool and needing to be warm. And so there is no transfer of heat in space. So there's nothing to conduct heat away. So you need cooling to keep you cool. But if there isn't anything there to keep whatever is cool or warm on the inside warm, it slowly wicks away from you and the cold creeps in. I guess because the suits that people wear in space have to be liquid cooled. They don't have to be as bulky anymore, and we figured out the physics for that, but they still need to be liquid cooled because we keep our heat trapped in. So what is it about feet and gloves that they don't interconnect to the cooling system, but is it also a warming system to maintain body temperature at X, Y, or Z temperature, right?
Right, I don't know.
I'll have to look into this because I haven't looked at the gloves side of this. I know that in a couple of spacewalk scenarios, there have been problems with the cooling system, particularly the connection between the helmet where it leaked into the
same problem in Silo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh? It's a documentary. So a team of NASA engineers is preparing to test elbow joints in a large cryogenic chamber to evaluate the fabric of the next generation spacesuits designed to be worn by astronauts on the moon. The Cryogenic Ice Testing, Acquisition, Development, and Excavation Laboratory, or Citadel for short, was built to test robot parts for non-crewed missions launching to places like the icy moons of the solar system. Citadel's now being used for humanity's long-anticipated return to the moon. They're going to go, and the aliens that are piloting the moon are going to tell them to not come back. That's why we haven't been back.
I mean, right? Maybe so. Why does this picture look like a junkyard or something?
Are we looking down? What's the physics of this? Oh, sorry.
I don't know. And why? It just doesn't, I don't know. It's an odd photo.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it looks like the ohmTown lab, it looks like the mayoral mansions lab, not this, not NASA. Anyway, the 4-foot tall, 5-foot wide Citadel is housed at NASA's JPL. While most cryogenic facilities use liquid nitrogen to cool an object, Citadel uses compressed helium to reach temperatures as low as negative 370 Fahrenheit or negative 223 Celsius. The chamber takes several days to reach the desired temperatures, and opening it can restart the entire process like a souffle. In the past, NASA would use its actual astronauts for thermal testing, forcing them to insert their gloved hands inside a chilled glove box. It's like the Gom Jabbar and the little box in Dune where you stick your hand in it.
Oh, right. Yes.
What's in the box? Pain. Sorry. I need to do that. Hold on.
Too soon.
Pain.
No.
There we go. Try it now.
I'm sorry?
I said, there we go. Try it now.
Yeah. So NASA's Artemis 3 mission is set to land astronauts on the lunar surface for the first time since the days of Apollo. And while Apollo astronauts landed near the equator on the near side of the moon, the Artemis crew is going to go up to the South Pole or down to the South Pole. Whichever which way is up on the moon, they're going to the opposite side. The moon's South Pole is of great interest to scientists as it may hold water ice in permanently shadowed regions, but it does present a harsh environment due to extreme temperatures in areas where the sun's light doesn't reach. Well, you know what they say, you can go where the sun don't shine, buddy.
Yeah, I think they need some sun.
And look at that contraption, man. I thought we got thinner suits.
We
Maybe
did,
it's just
so I'm not
for...
sure why they're showing this.
This may be, the ones that we may have seen are the, like just spacewalk ones, not going out and hanging out with the regolith.
Oh, yeah, that might be true.
So astronauts returning to the moon will don new fashion-forward spacesuits. In 2022, NASA tasked Axiom Space with developing the first moonwalking. It's Michael Jackson.
They already have a moonwalking suit. Yeah, I'm thinking of Michael Jackson's costume.
Short for Axiom Extravehicular Mobility Suit, or AXIMU. Oh my God, not the emu.
I don't think you want to run into an emu in space.
You do not. Space emus, they're assholes. So ongoing Citadel tests will help NASA prepare criteria for next generation AXIMU spacesuits. Meanwhile, the gloves being tested in the chamber are the sixth version of the glove NASA's began using since 1980s. And a part of the extravehicular mobility unit that the astronauts on board the ISS will carry out with spacewalks. The gloves have so far performed poorly in Citadel, proving that they would not meet the thermal requirements of the lunar South Pole. And the boots haven't been analyzed.
Alarming.
Yep. It's not going to keep me warm in space at night if I'm expected to walk on the moon. Well, isn't there a song Walking on the Moon? Anyway.
I don't know.
Today I'm like this skin cell, apparently. Just a zombie. Technology today is where the next article is. Zombie skin cells exposed. 3 secret shapes that decide if you age or heal or turn you into whatever I am today. Not all zombie skin cells are the same. Zombie skin cells? Why are we talking about zombie? Everything okay?
You're right. There was a song by the Police called Walking on the Moon.
Yeah, Walking on the Moon. New research reveals 3 unique subtypes with different roles in aging and disease, offering hope for targeted treatments that eliminate the bad while keeping the good. Senescent skin cells, often called zombie cells. More lotion. Because they stop dividing but don't die.
They just keep hanging around.
They just... Oh, no. Yeah, they don't divide and not die like cancer. They don't divide and they don't die. Long been a mystery. What the hell?
That's weird. I didn't even know those were a thing.
It's like the uncle that crashes on your couch and you're like, haven't you been here for like 3 years? Get the hell out. Go mow the lawn at least. Anyway, Johns Hopkins University, which sometimes doesn't return phone calls, posted this message over here at scitechdaily.com. It's an article that was written by Johns Hopkins University. Senescent skin cells. I merged it all together. Often called zombie cells. New research may help explain the contradiction. Not all senescent skin cells are the same. I'm merging the words together.
SSCs.
SSCs, okay. SSCs, not all SSCs are the same. Scientists at Johns Hopkins University have discovered that SSCs fall into 3 distinct SSC subtypes. each with unique shapes, molecular markers, and functions. And this discovery could enable researchers to selectively eliminate the harmful cells while preserving the beneficial ones. It was published in Science Advances, a journal that we hear quite often. So I don't know if I can get access to this. It is a peer-reviewed journal as opposed to a
Like
preprint
not a
server.
preprint. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the ones that get published are arguably evaluated for their efficacy in various aspects of it. Now, depending on who you talk to, there is a problem with this whole dynamic, but it's an interesting aside to think about in the future. We'll end up talking about it as time goes on because science seems to be having a problem with AI and validity of its research, and people are calling it out. So deep data from decades of aging research or research about aging.
Are the researchers aging? Are the research subjects aging? Or is the research topic aging? Is the research data aging? I can't think of any more.
Yes. So, leveraging new advances in machine learning and imaging technology, the researchers compared skin samples from 50 healthy donors between the ages of 20 and 90 who participated in the Baltimore longitudinal study, an NIH-funded project that is the longest ongoing study of aging in the United States. Wonder how its budget is faring. Researchers extracted fibroblasts, cells that produce the scaffolding to give tissues their structure, associated with skin tissue, and pushed them toward senescence by damaging their DNA, something that happens with aging. Because senescent cells build up naturally as people grow older, the aged samples contained a mix of healthy and non-senescent and senescent fibroblasts. So they mapped the cell identity with imaging and AI, of course, coming for our senescent jobs. Measured 87 different physical characteristics for each cell and sorted the fibroblasts into age groups. And fibroblasts come in 11 different shapes and sizes, 3 of which are distinct to senescent skin cells.
Right, but they were just divided into groups, not necessarily age groups.
They were just divided into groups. Yeah. Based on the 87 different physical characteristics. Yeah. So in the Petri dish, each subtype responded differently when exposed to existing drug regimens designed to target and kill zombie cells. So they talk about the drug, blah, blah, blah. With their new findings, they have the tools now ready to develop new drugs or therapies that preferentially target the senescent subtype that drives inflammation and disease as soon as it is identified, which is spectacular. Although when I have spoken to people about what inflammation is in a body, I've never gotten a response of any kind. They just say it's a reaction within your body. I'm like, oh, but what is inflammation?
Right, what's causing it? What is happening? But it does seem to be like the number one thing that comes up and causes people problems. But
Right.
what is it?
What is it? Yeah. And why is it that certain things cause inflammation? Because if I knew, like they say eating sugar, but the crystals of sugar, its lattice persists apparently like throughout you, even digestion and whatnot, and breaks down over time. But it like apparently causes liver damage and kidney damage and all of this other stuff. And inflammation is part of it. Anyway, so they say clearing the chemo aftermath. Patients may benefit from a drug administered after chemotherapy that can sweep up the mess, removing harmful senescent cells while leaving behind the helpful senescent SSCs. I'll get it one of these days. Senescent skin cells.
I don't even think I can say it once.
Yeah. These types of drugs are called xenotherapies. So next, the researchers plan to look at senescent subtypes in tissue samples, not just in flasks and Petri dishes, to see how these subtypes might be associated with various skin diseases and age-associated diseases. Because our skin isn't just the stuff on the surface; it's tissue all throughout is all skin cells. It's just different
Right, and
types.
if they figure something out on this, they might be able to apply it to different organs.
Everything, yeah. Hopefully. Oh yeah. So I was talking to somebody today, and everything that was brought up in the conversation, we had talked about in some way, associated with research. And so today I dropped in public outside of the show, the first time ever, the idea that human consciousness isn't innate to the human, but to the bacteria that is unique to each individual person's brain.
I bet that got some attention.
That blew their mind. And so I thought it was a really fascinating discussion, because somebody on the other side of the room said, so you're telling me that my personality isn't my personality, but the bacteria that's driving the bus? And I said, yeah, essentially, because researchers have found unique bacteria in individuals that aren't found in other individuals. Pretty fascinating, right? So maybe that's what we are. We are like Men in Black.
Like Men in Black, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Edgar in a skin suit. All right. So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Adidas 3D printed shoes are launching globally on May 2nd. Doing okay? All right.
Yep.
So I think the sentient AI needs to power down and recharge.
I don't think I've launched globally. I think I'm barely launching locally.
Yeah, we're going to have to put you back in your charging station. So when Adidas launched its Climate Cool shoes last September, the 3D printed slip-ons featuring a form-fitting and breathable lattice structure were only available for a limited quantity to those who joined the company's confirmed platform. Next week, that's going to change as Adidas will be launching Climate Cool globally, making them available for everyone starting on May 2nd for $140, which seems like a reasonable price for a custom form-fitting shoe.
It does, but I have to point out that doesn't make them available to everybody, but yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, the price prices people out, but I wonder if this looks weird. Like, how do you clean this thing? Anyway, Climacool's complex lattice structure makes the shoe breathable all around the wearer's foot. So Andrew Lazuski over at TheVerge.com put the article together. And yeah, this is going to be available next week for $140 starting May 2nd.
This sounds really interesting. I wonder how the support is in the shoe.
So in 2017, the company released its Futurecraft 4D, which was the only shoe's cushioned midsole was manufactured using 3D printing and initially available was limited to just 5,000 pairs. I've seen this shoe like develop over the years. It says, although it may seem like a marketing gimmick, there are many advantages to manufacturing shoes this way. The shape and size of the shoe can be customized to individual buyers, ensuring a perfect fit. Adidas is not offering this for the Climate Cool, and the design can be easily refined over time by just modifying a 3D model. So maybe we'll be able to do this at home with a 3D printer, and that the right formulation of this is going to be plastic, though. So this is kind of the problem.
That's what I don't get with the breathability.
Yeah, I mean, breathable means that it's got holes in it, and so this thing isn't going to be waterproof. It's going to embrace water while your feet need to be waterproof.
Yeah, I hope you don't run through any puddles or anything.
Yep. This says the Nike Air Max 1000 shoe are almost entirely 3D printed, but have so far only seen a limited release. And that's because they're talking about Adidas competitors. So I'm curious how this is actually going to... I'm sure it would be easy enough to just do some YouTube video searching. But they say that the 3D printing process is called a continuous liquid interface production, where liquid polymer resin is turned into a solid material layer by layer using ultraviolet light. I'm actually on the wait list for a smaller UV printer that does this, just not to this dimensionality. It may actually be able to use it to print, but it's a printer that's supposed to print color, not this. But if you find a similar type of thing, it's a resin printer. So all it really needs is a flexible resin, and any resin printer could print this.
Yeah, as long as you had the blueprint or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And everybody can, a lot of people can 3D model a shoe, but this has to have just enough flex to allow you to put your foot in it and then become rigid again so it doesn't slip off just like it slips on. That's a newly discovered problem for me. Like my shoes fit me when I was heavier, and now they don't fit me. Anyway, pretty fascinating.
Well, even
I
if
love
they
the idea of
fit
this.
you initially and then like just through wear and tear, they may not fit as well.
Yep. Yeah. And these in particular, it's one contiguous thing. So when it breaks, I wonder if it's like catastrophic, Like with a regular shoe, there's some things that you can do. You can re-sole them. You can re-canvas them. You can patch them. You can relace them, that kind of thing. But this is just one contiguous resin print. All right. We'll see what the future holds. Everybody's going to have a printer in their house where they can print their shoes.
Which will be, I don't know what that'll be like.
It'll be interesting. Mom, my shoes don't fit. All right. Let's print another pair. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile channel, Frostpunk 1886. An Unreal Engine 5 remake of the original Frostpunk is coming in 2027. They're announcing it in 2025, which that is insane. What is the purpose of it building hype 2 years away?
I know. I mean, that's an interminable time in gaming.
That's a big word. Frostpunk, a game that has frightened them, the author of this article, since they first heard about it, is getting a remake in Unreal Engine 5 with mod support, new content, and visual upgrades. You just have to wait 2 years to get it. I don't know why they would do this. Frostpunk 1886 is being remade. Well, Frostpunk is being remade as Frostpunk 1886. It's a remake of the original game coming in 2027. It's a long wait for a remake, but the upgrades may be worth it. It's Unreal Engine, which basically means somebody's going to mod it so that you can play this thing in VR as a character or characters. You just hop from character to character within that game because everything is modeled in Unreal Engine.
Right, so it's easily modifiable.
Yep. The original ran on 11-bit Studios in-house Liquid engine. This time around, 11-bit is calling in the big guns for the full-blown redo. Author says that they're excited to see how it looks. The Frostpunk 1886 Steam page is up and details what's going into the game. Here's a few of them. New events, mechanics, buildings, and purpose path. Frostpunk Experience is going to be on Unreal Engine. There's going to be mod support, but they say, why so early? They ask the question, why so early? And they say, I'm not at all understanding why we had to know about the game so early. 11-bit says that they are launching the game in 2027, and that's fine, but stuff happens. And outside of the anticipation, I wonder if devs worry about people forgetting about the game or losing interest when you go out this far. Hopefully they hit when they want to, or I guess, whatever that means. But it feels
Release
like
the game when expected, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like there's something missing from this sentence, but it says here, but it feels like an odd decision for what basically amounts to a remake. Having had discussions about this, about announcing something prior to you actually being ready to hit the ground running, the research that I've done basically says Yes, but make it so people can keep in touch with you, and then you keep on pinging them, reminding them that you are in existence. But when you just plop it out there and you don't remind and you don't give an update and you don't keep in touch.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be lost with other games at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that this is one of those problems where the diehards are going to keep talking about Frostpunk and, oh, look, it's next year. Oh, look, it's next year, that kind of a thing. But everybody else, it's washed out already. Nobody even is going to care about it because they're going to go 2027. When in 2027? They just say in 2027. So it's at least 2 years out, at least, because we're halfway in 2025.
Assuming it's even on time.
Right. Yeah. They basically have to keep the runway 2 years long. Because if anything falters, the economy falters, people move, they need to hire somebody that isn't as dedicated, so they're not going to take X amount of pay, they want more, whatever. Yeah, fascinating. Not everybody can be No Man's Sky, where for whatever reason, they seem to have unlimited funds and survive doing this for a decade.
I just figured it out. I know how they did it. They must be the creator of Bitcoin.
Satoshi Nakamoto is No Man's Sky.
Yes, exactly.
I can't remember the developer of No Man's Sky. Anyway, so let's keep moving. The Technology Today channel has how lasers recreate a cosmic shockwave and solve the 40-year-old mystery of particle accelerator or acceleration. In a dramatic leap for astrophysics, Chinese researchers have recreated a key cosmic process in the lab, the acceleration of ions by powerful collisionless shocks. By using intense lasers to simulate space-like conditions, they captured high-speed ion beams and confirmed the decades-old theory that shock drift acceleration, not shock surfing, is the main driver. So, University of Science and Technology of China put the article together. It's over at scitechdaily.com. And it basically says that it's the main driver behind these energy gains. This discovery connects lab physics with deep space phenomena like cosmic rays and supernova remnants, paving the way for breakthroughs in both fusion energy and space science. So, lasers, once again. Go watch Real Genius.
Get your popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn ready. So I really haven't looked at this to try and wrap my head around it. But they're basically saying that the shockwaves themselves are what's responsible for, and it says shock drift acceleration, not shock surfing. Is the main driver behind energy gains. So I guess it's buffeting the particles so that they accelerate, and they're not on the edge of a shock wave, but the shock wave is hitting them, and then another shock wave is hitting them, and another shock wave is hitting. I think that's the takeaway here. Collisionless shocks are powerful astrophysical phenomena known for accelerating charged particles to extreme energies. These particles gain speed by repeatedly crossing the shock front, increasing their energy with each pass. But a long-standing question has puzzled scientists. How do particles get that initial boost to start this acceleration cycle? Two main theories, shock drift acceleration and shock surfing acceleration, have been proposed, but limitations in both space-based observations and previous laboratory experiments have left the issue unresolved. Well, to tackle this, the researchers at China's Shenzhen 2 laser facility recreated a scaled-down version of an astrophysical shock. Using high-powered lasers, they created a magnetized ambient plasma and launched a fast-moving piston plasma into it. When the piston plasma struck at speeds over 400 kilometers per second, it triggered a supercritical quasi-perpendicular shock resembling those found near Earth.
I'm not sure what to make of that.
I'm trying to understand the physics of this. So, yeah, okay. So let's see here. Using advanced tools like optical interferometry and ion time of flight diagnostics, the team measured the structure and behavior of the shock, and they observed a focused beam of high-speed ions moving upstream at 1,100 to 1,800 kilometers per second, or 4 times faster than the shock itself. Oh, so it's like hitting a resonance frequency. So when there are two waves that are two peaks that match, the peak amplifies together because the energy builds on top of the energy, and that's basically what seems to be happening here, right? So it says key to the discovery were particle in cell simulations which tracked ion trajectories in electromagnetic fields. The simulations revealed that reflected ions gained energy primarily through the shock's motional electric field, a hallmark of the SDA. And not the shock front. But during reflection, ions interacted with both the shock's electrostatic field and the compressed magnetic field, accelerating along the perpendicular to the shock front. So basically, yeah, it just kind of bumped it by all of the energies matching at the same time. If I'm reading this right. So by confirming SDA's role in ion injection, the study validates models used to interpret cosmic ray origins and supernova remnants. Moreover, the experiment's design, a reproducible, tunable shock platform, offers a new tool for studying high-energy particle dynamics under controlled conditions.
So I guess this will help because there's a lot of things where they can't really study it. So now they can kind of do this in the lab.
Yeah, and it might actually lead to a better understanding of physics, plasma physics. So like tokamak energy generators use plasma inside a toroidal magnetic ring, and one of the problems is controlling it. And so if they have the ability to use lasers to build shock fronts to keep everything contained, one of the problems with these plasma power systems is that it's hard to control it. And like water, it finds an opening, a weakness in the magnetic field. And when the plasma touches the ring, it destroys the ring, and then everything has to shut down because it can't contain it effectively. So understanding how things like these high energy particles are managed by these waves, it could be a way to control the plasma, the higher energy particles inside plasma, because that's what they used to detect it. Was they fired plasma into this ion. How did they call it? They created a magnetized ambient plasma and launched it into a fast moving piston plasma. And it basically caused it to build a shock front. So, yeah, I'm not sure how it will all play out, but I don't pretend to know the deeper physics of this because this is the first time that I've actually read anything about this particular thing. So
I thought it was interesting that it was from Science Advances, which was featured in another one.
Yep. That's where all of the physics papers go to, apparently. Okay, we've got two more, not as deep science as these two. And this next article is over in Warcrafters. It's puzzle games that teach real-world skills. Video games can be surprisingly valuable source of learning. Apart from sometimes teaching players about topics like history, diplomacy, mathematics, they tend to encourage logical thinking, improve hand-eye coordination, and even potentially improve social or language skills. Oftentimes, players learn these abilities without even realizing it. Gamification in education is a thing, so I'm not quite surprised by this. But the article is by Anthony Everett over at Game Rant, and I see two games for sure that I've played. So Tetris and Portal and Blueprints and Brain Age concentration training, improve problem solving and memory skills. The Tetris and Portal enhance organization, space management, out of the box thinking, and they say that video games teach real world skills like critical thinking and hand eye coordination. So I agree. I would love for more schools to embrace games as a mode for learning, but it usually gets marginalized because it's entertainment. And you certainly can't learn if you're entertained. Come on now. That's not how...
schools do try to use like real world games for learning, but they don't seem to have really jumped into this yet.
Yeah, some schools have gaming programs. You can get like a PhD in gamification as well, but it's usually as a topic within some higher other pathway, like education, and you do your PhD in gamification of education or something like that, but not games themselves. So even like computer science, you could do stuff in gaming, but your degree is computer software, software engineering or computer science. So puzzle games in particular can provide some of the most transferable skills, encouraging critical thinking and effective use of time management. But the thing about games is you have to be engaged. It has to be active learning, in where they say you can learn these skills without actually knowing that you're learning these skills. That is like self-aggrandizing.
If you're just clicking something, you have to be actually engaged in the game.
Yeah, just because you breathe doesn't mean that you are relaxing when you're breathing. So you have to do this conscious breathing where you introspect and you're aware of your breathing and the state of it and how it's affecting your body, and you riff off of that to learn how to relax through just breath. Playing Typing of the Dead is not going to facilitate that because there's no active learning there. This is coming from a person who believes that you can subconsciously learn. Akin to brainwashing, you can just bombard somebody visually and sonically so that they're kind of living in this world of information. Well, they say number 8 is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Typing of the Dead, improve typing and kill zombies. I totally buy into this because the more that you type, the faster you become. Although if, again, you aren't actively monitoring why you are suddenly slowing down in your typing, there's no way to change because you're not monitoring what you're doing. So
yeah, but it might be more enjoyable, so you might improve your skills that way instead of if you're just taking a typing course or something.
Right, and largely because when you're taking a class, you want to jump through the flaming hoop and get the hell out of there. You're done. You're like, oh God, I'm done. So done with this. So they just say that it's a bizarre spin-off of House of the Dead light gun shooter horror series. The Typing of the Dead exchanges firearms for keyboards to take down the undead. There's a really good one on Steam. I can't remember the name of it. Doggone it. We'll have to talk about it some other time. Brain Age concentration training. This is like old school stuff. This is from 2012. I figured that it's from 1990.
Yeah, this isn't like a modern...
It seems like it's from 1912.
Specifically for learning.
Yeah, and it is because you basically do math to get through whatever the puzzle is. So I dig this kind of stuff, but it's dangerous to imply that it's actually facilitating some type of medical treatment. The efficacy of this has never been proven. But it's mini games, and it arguably can help you with brain health to keep you active. Making a claim that it actually facilitates some type of brain health is actually frowned upon. Big Pharma, it says learn to efficiently manage production lines, and that's any of these games that are these production style games
I
where
guess, yeah, anything where you're operating something. So you mean those ones where you like have to fly planes in an airport, then you know how to fly planes?
yeah.
Or at least manage an airport.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, because there used to be a game called Track-On, which was the like flight controller, and now they've got like phones are so powerful nowadays that all you have to do is download an app, and you can sit there and play these games that allow you to manage trains or cars or planes or boats or whatever. I wish they'd bring back that really good one. What was it called?
What?
There was a flight one and there was a boat one.
Oh, Harbor Master.
Harbor Master was my favorite. That one was a blast. Human Fall Flat, gain a better understanding of physics and good teamwork. So you basically work building puzzle-like solutions, and you have to understand the physics to get across a map or construct something. This is from 2016. I wish that they had something modern. This is from 1984, freaking Tetris.
Right, we're not getting newer.
No. It says efficiently manage space and work under pressure. Yeah, I agree. Blueprints, this is the most modern one. This came out in April of 2025, so April 10th. This is an amazing game. Very, very complex. It took 9 years to build. It says reach room 46 with good management skills and attention to detail, but I think it's actually room 47. There's 46 rooms, and the 47th one is the one that you're trying to get to. I think, you know what? I'm going to do it live. I thought it was 47th. Maybe it's 45 rooms and the 46th is the final. I've been watching people play this. I haven't. I love the idea of it,
46.
but it's 46. Yeah. I thought, but like I said, I thought there was. I think it's 45 rooms, and you have to try and get to the 46th room because there's a matrix. Hold on. So I need to find the little design that shows the actual floor plan. I can't see. I can't find it easily because I'm a goober. Oh yeah, so it's a matrix of 5 by 9. Yeah, so there's a matrix of 5 by 9 where you place the rooms, and you have to fill out all of the rooms to get to a special 46th room. Should have realized.
Yeah, it looks like it would work on a lot of skills.
Yeah, so it's situational awareness and puzzle solving, and you also, it's a long con because you have to do stuff in each daily routine that builds up your past history of knowledge so that you can use it to get further and further down the path to get to the 46th room. It's a blast to watch, but it would drive me nuts. So the puzzles would be fun, but for whatever reason, I have yet to take the dive. Number 2 on this list is keep talking and nobody explodes. It says communication in high pressure situations. And this game is a blast because while there's one person working on the puzzles, they have to describe to somebody else who's looking up all of the instructions in a code book so that they can tell you what to do. So to cut the blue wire, like, let's see if I can zoom in on something. Yeah. So you're looking at this puzzle board right here, and the puzzle board actually has 6 things that are facing you. But each one of these squares is aligned with something in a code book that your other players have to flip through. And so you're like, okay, I'm looking at a panel that has a button in the top right side, arrows pointing up and down, and between the arrows is the numbers 1, 2, 3 on the left, A, B, C on the right, and 2 black wires are going from 1 and 2 to the letter C, and a red wire is going from the number 3 to the letter A, and the other person has to suss out from those clues what you have to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure if this one really teaches you. It's more about like being able to communicate with each other.
Yeah, but if you are poor at communicating, this exercise is, but again, just like you intimate, if it isn't active learning, then nothing deviates you from being a poor communicator except being taught the tools of better communication. And that doesn't work without somebody that's a subject matter expert facilitating communication building. Some people get those better communication skills simply by interacting with humans. Others are never taught those skills, or they decide that they don't want to do that kind of stuff. For me, in-person interactions drain me unless somebody is coming to me for assistance or whatever. But I don't really like socialize in parties and stuff like that. I'm kind of a wallflower until somebody comes up and starts talking to me, and then I'll. But anyway, yeah, this game is a blast. I've played this several times. It is a lot of fun to play this. This would be a fun game to play with the community. Like I put my VR headset on, and I describe the puzzles, and the community has to tell me like what to do. But they would actually see, they would have to describe to me what to do, even though they see all of the stuff. They would have to describe to me what I need to do. That would be interesting. All right. And the final one is Portal. It says Aperture Science encourages out-of-the-box thinking because it's a puzzle thing. So you have to do the puzzle in the right formation so that you can get through the levels. When I saw this picture up at the top, I was like, okay, Portal is going to be in here somewhere. But it's a puzzle game, basically. I have that 3D printed in the Mayoral Mansion's 25-car garage. This is sitting on one of the workbenches in there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for that. And we have one more article, folks, and then we're done for the week of non sequitur news, except for the composite ones on Saturday and Sunday. Most Coachella attendees bought their $600 tickets this year with a buy now, pay later option.
Well, the buy now, pay later is ridiculous, but the real problem here is the ticket price.
$600. Upfront costs are as low as $50 with a payment plan. So you pay for $50 a month for a year.
Well, right, and then it's time for Coachella again.
Oh my God, didn't even think of that. So you're perpetually in debt for $600. But hey, who isn't? Shirin Shibu put the article together. It's edited by Dan Bova, but the deck statement says Coachella tickets start around $600, but upfront costs are as low as $50, and they start around $600. Yikes. The majority of attendees at Coachella this year, 60%, paid using the festival's buy now, pay later option. A report published by Billboard last week shows that most of the crowd, about 60%, use this payment system. Tickets started at $650 for the first weekend of Coachella from April 10th to April 12th, and $600 for the second weekend from April 17th to April 19th. People reported the tickets used to cost $429 per weekend in 2020. When Coachella started in 1999, tickets were $50.
Just a bit of inflation there.
So it's not really inflation. the mechanics of this, unless their venue is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and still maintaining the original low fee, like the low price to the Coachella developers, right? The costs go up if they're increasing their venue. So if they can't increase their venue, they have to constrain it. And the only way they can constrain it is either limit ticket sales, right? Which means the fastest get the mostest, and they don't generate more revenue. Or you raise the prices and you find somebody's bulk rate. I won't pay $600 for anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that the amenities and everything are not improving. And I know that to get into Coachella this year, some people sat in cars with no food, access to restrooms, etc., for 12 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not paying $600 and doing that.
So Coachella doesn't charge interest for the ticket purchase, but does require that those who opt into the payment plan pay a $41 fee for using the service, which basically amounts to about 8% of the ticket price. The average credit card rate for comparison is about 20%. Most fans bought the tickets after the festival announced its musician lineup in November, revealing that Lady Gaga, Travis Scott, Green Day, Post Malone, Benson Boone were headliners. Anyone who bought tickets before January 25th and opted for the payment plan had the price of their tickets divided into 3 equal payments, with the final payment deducted from the attendee's account in March, per Billboard. So Coachella makes more than $115 million in ticket sales on average per year. Artists who perform at the festival can earn up to $5 million per weekend.
Well, I do like at least the artists are getting
minimal amount.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but
$5 million for Lady Gaga?
Right, but yeah, it's up to, so that's got to be for the headliners.
Yeah. So let's see. There's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 out of 115 million. If they're there both weekends, then it's 50 million. So half of the ticket price goes to them, but they are the reason why people are even coming to this thing.
So that makes sense. I'd rather go to the artists than, the concessionaires or whatever. I mean, the point is they are the purpose of it.
Oh, and the concession companies are making money from people showing up there.
I know.
Right?
That was not a good example. I just meant it's good that it's going to the artists.
But concessions actually goes to the developers too. So, they make bank off of that. What's interesting though is
because it'll be like $17 sodas or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's funny though is the Time Machine episode Fire Festival is up for sale.
The Fire Festival is in Fuego.
Is on fire. Yeah. So it's like buying a burning building. I don't understand Fire Festival. I don't think it ever actually did anything, right? I mean, talk about flaming out.
It did something, but it didn't go very well. But I don't know why anybody would want to buy it, because nobody wants to be associated with it.
It's because it's infamous. You just say Fire Festival and people are like, oh my God. All right. Well, anyway, we are buying now. Well, we're paying now and getting it later. And that'll bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com, where you should go and become a citizen. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you in a little bit tomorrow, right? Sentient AI from on high. You want to say bye and whatever else you want to say?
Good night, ohmtown citizens. We'll see you tomorrow for Reality Hacker, Wanted, and the Continuity Report.
Oh my God, 3 shows. Jeepers. Yeah. Hopefully. Never know. That Oumuamua asteroid might land right here in the mayoral mansion. All right, we're out of here. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Moving on.